You most definitely know what an iceberg chart is by now, so I'm going to make this intro as short as possible. Minecraft modding has been around for quite a while, and has had its fair share of interesting facts and tidbits. Seeing as a lot of other charts I've seen online aren't really the best, I've decided to make my own, and additionally explain it, as again, a lot of explanation videos I've seen online do a subpar job. With that being said, this iceberg is definitely biased towards my knowledge as I developed it completely solo. And quick disclaimer, unlike other modded MC Iceberg charts, this one doesn't just document mods or just document events and happenings. It's supposed to be able to introduce someone without any modded experience and have them come out of the video as someone who knows what they're doing. So whether you want some weird trivia or just want to be introduced to some new mods, this is the right video for you. Welcome to the first layer of the iceberg. This layer's entries are ones that should be known by those who don't even mod Minecraft. Thus, it mostly covers very basic concepts and mod/mod packs that have become incredibly popular, often due to their being milked to death on YouTube. Minecraft mod is anything that externally modifies the game of Minecraft. In this case, it is specifically a jar file placed in a folder in your Minecraft directory that either alters gameplay mechanics, adds quality of life features, or introduces new items and mobs. This definition of mod excludes shaders and resource packs as they alter the game differently. Throughout the video, unmodded Minecraft will be referred to as vanilla, because just like the ice cream flavor, it's kind of boring. No hate to vanilla players. There are a plethora of common misunderstandings that vanilla players have about modded Minecraft. The common one among younger players are that mods require money. They don't, as it against Mojang Tula, although that doesn't stop some people from trying to charge players for them. Some other common misunderstandings might be about version parity, as many mods available on some versions of Minecraft aren't available on others, which is something that can often be missed by people that aren't well versed in modding. What's a modded video essay without a mention of the Aether? Often regarded as one of the most influential mods ever, the Aether was a massive mod for its time, introducing a skies-themed dimension with a host of bosses, dungeons, enemies, and the like. Released 2011, it has been around quite a while now and has seen a plethora of reworks and ports, along with quote-unquote sequels. As of right now, there are versions of the mod all the way on 1.19, if not further. Another keystone of modding, although far more recent, Create is a mod developed by Simabubi first released a version 1.14.4 in 2020, although an alpha was made available in late 2019. The mod introduces rotational power into the game, which can be utilized in a variety of single-block and multi-block contraptions. The mod is seen as revolutionary due to its unique approach to being a tech mod, more focused on problem solving using contraptions built from its features, as opposed to slightly more linear style of traditional tech mods. As for why this mod is in the sky, it blew up in popularity when it was featured in several traditionally vanilla YouTubers' channels, such as Mumbo Jumbo, has a total of 86 million downloads on CurseForge. RLCraft is a complete overhaul mod pack for version 1.12.2 released in 2019. The pack has gained an infamous reputation for its unfair difficulty, mostly due to its inclusion of Lycanite's mobs, a mod that adds a large amount of hostile mobs with pretty unbalanced stats and spawning conditions. While often sold as the most difficult Minecraft mod pack, this is a little more than slightly contested and is generally looked upon with disdain by more experienced modders. It is currently the most downloaded mod pack on CurseForge with 21.7 million total downloads. Just Enough Items, often shorthanded as JEI, is an incredibly useful utility mod that displays every item in the game next to your inventory. It also allows you to find the recipe and uses of any given item using R and U when hovering over an item respectively. Unlike Vanilla's recipe book, you don't need to unlock items to see how they're crafted. Between this and a plethora of other useful features, JEI can be considered the holy grail for modders, making most difficult packs possible and likely being the reason why mods don't have more robust wikis or in-game guides. JEI gets more interesting though when you look at its history. The first version of JEI available is for version 1.8, released in 2015. There are a good amount of mod packs released before then, so how could any modder live without their precious JEI? Just Enough Items is sort of a spiritual successor to Not Enough Items developed by Chicken Bones. It has been around since 2014, back on version 1.6.2. There is actually a 1.12.2 port of NEI, but that's not relevant. And NEI is a spiritual successor of Too Many Items, which was around since the beta days of Minecraft. Nowadays, Just Enough Items is still running strong, although there's kind of a side port called Roughly Enough Items, which is for Fabric. Much to the disappointment of console and mobile players alike, mods are not available for Bedrock Edition as it is developed in C++, a harder language for modders to deobfuscate. Between that and Java's longer lifetime and more dedicated user base, Bedrock mods don't really exist in the same way Java mods do. While there are resource packs that add items to Bedrock and marketplace content, these pale in comparison to Java's well-established and cohesive modding community. I'll just be honest and say I played Pixelmon for a maximum 1 hour and my knowledge of it isn't really that comprehensive. Regardless, Pixelmon is both a mod and a mod pack that adds Pokemon to your game. You can catch them, battle other players with them, and do whatever else you can do with Pokemon. The most popular Pixelmon pack is the second most downloaded mod pack on CurseForge, with a total of 14.4 million downloads. Popular MMOs was a prominent modded YouTuber that uploaded a plethora of videos, most of them appealing to younger audiences. His videos fell into several different categories, like most YouTubers do, including modded playthroughs, mod reviews, and challenge videos. The channel can be attributed to sparking many initials interest in modded Minecraft. Sadly, the channel kinda went to shit after Pat, the owner, broke up with his girlfriend that often starred on the channel. This caused a downward spiral effect, eventually resulting in drama with future girlfriends, including a short stint in jail. Cave Dweller, along with other mods inspired by it, are an attempt at enhancing Minecraft's quote-unquote horror aspect by introducing entities with the explicit purpose of jump-scaring the player. The mod caught the eye of children's YouTubers, and as we all know, that's never a good thing. The content created around the mods spawned an army of mods attempting to add new Dweller variants, feeding into the creation of even more Dweller mod content. Because of this, the mod and its derivatives are seen as nothing but content farms and low-quality shovelware. Another mod made popular by YouTube, Escape and Run Parasites, was released in 2019. While it wasn't immediately popular, it slowly garnered popularity over its difficulty. The mod adds several new monsters that will begin to invade your world over time, beginning with small and relatively harmless parasites. As the infection spreads, larger and more dangerous parasites will spawn, many of which are capable of breaking blocks. The mod has been included in newer versions of RLCraft and is seen as one of the best survival challenge mods, as it's one of the only ones that are actually challenging. As I touched on earlier, Bedrock doesn't support typical Java mods. In their place are marketplace add-ons and third-party add-ons. Although just because an add-on appears in the marketplace doesn't necessarily mean it's of high quality. Many of these add-ons add minimal content and often don't overhaul the game, instead adding a few new items or mobs. There is some more ambitious marketplace add-ons though, intent on replicating some Java mods. I don't really know how far these projects have gone though. Diamond Minecart, also known as DanTDM, is another Minecraft YouTuber who made a large amount of modded content, known for his mod reviews featuring Dr. Trioris. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Unlike popular MMOs, his channel is still going strong, albeit slightly less popular than it was in its heyday. He has also branched out from making solely Minecraft content and plays a variety of other games. Much like Cave Dweller and other quote-unquote trendy mods, Lucky Blocks were sort of a fad on modded YouTube. The trend consisted of YouTubers opening themed Lucky Blocks that would cause a random event to happen upon breaking. Many of these mods were made specifically for the YouTuber playing the mod. Eventually, these mods lost their popularity, and most if not all of them could not be found on CurseForge. With all this basic knowledge out of the way, let's delve into entries that a vanilla player likely wouldn't know. These cover some more fundamentals of modded Minecraft and introduce some more mods. Mod packs are a collection of mods put together, often with modifications to recipes or custom quests to guide you along the pack's intended progression. There's a lot of variety in pack types, so I'll explain some of them here. First off, we got kitchen sink packs, which are usually the easiest type to make, and if you've played modded before, you've probably played one. These packs are loosely jumbled collections of mods, often with little to no modification to their progression. These are the packs you can throw together for a fun afternoon with friends. However, a good kitchen sink pack will often have some small modifications to help with compatibility and the like. Next, we have progression-based packs, which are pretty much every other pack. These packs often have their mods' recipes manually tweaked by their creator in a way that encourages cross-mod compatibility, and if not, have some sort of quest book to guide you through the creator's intended progression. A popular subgenre of progression-based packs are expert packs, where almost every recipe is tweaked to not only be more expensive, but to use materials from several other mods. These mod packs usually culminate in crafting an overpowered item for an extreme price. There's also challenge packs, which are, while often also expert packs, they differ in their own ways. They feature specific gimmicks to make gameplay unique. These include skyblock packs and packs like Stoneblock. Mod loaders are a type of API that allows Minecraft to load mods. Basically, if you tried making a folder called mods inside of your Minecraft instance and put some jars in there, nothing would happen unless you had the mod loader installed. Currently, there are two major mod loaders, Fabric and Forge. Here's a quick rundown of their differences. Fabric is lightweight and easier to develop for and has a large amount of client-side mods, However, it lacks the amount of content Forge has. Forge is significantly older than Fabric and has almost always been considered the go-to if you want to play large, feature-rich packs. However, Forge is hard to develop for. Fabric and Forge aren't the only mod loaders though. I don't know too much about their communities, but I do know they're about as stable as the Middle East, and there is a constant influx of new forks and branches to the mod loaders because of controversy. These include Quilt, a Fabric fork, NeoForge, which is kind of like a sequel to Forge, whatever the fuck Rift is. Alright, look, I only play 1.12.2, Forge is the only option down there. Client-side mods are mods that only need to be installed on the client or user end function. These include things like just enough items, minimaps, and Lightmatica. Essentially, if the mod only adds UI or HUD elements, it's more than likely to be a client-side mod. Additionally, you can play on servers with these mods installed on your end, while they aren't installed on the host's end. Server-side mods are kind of like the opposite of client-side mods. These mods must be installed on both the server and the client to function. These mods typically add items, mobs, or change gameplay mechanics in such a way that it wouldn't work if it was just installed on the client. Most content mods are server-side. CurseForge, not to be confused with the Forge mod loader, is essentially a repository where mod creators can upload their mods. CurseForge also hosts mods for a plethora of other games like Sims and Stardew Valley. Its prominence in the modded Minecraft community emerged when Feed the Beast, a mod pack development group and hoster, made a deal with CurseForge agreeing to host some of their mod packs on the CurseForge site. Additionally, CurseForge offers its own launcher that allows you to automatically install mods and mod packs and play them from the same place. While it used to be built into Twitch, after CurseForge was acquired by Overwolf in 2020, it was moved into its own launcher where it currently resides. The history is a little bit more complicated than this due to relations between CurseForge and Feed the Beast being de-established and re-established several times, while CurseForge was owned by both Twitch and Overwolf. All the Mods is a series of large kitchen sink style mod packs, although some progression is changed for better balancing. Each pack focuses on obtaining that ATM star and crafting creative items. This is often the first serious mod pack a player will get into due to their high popularity. The series is currently on its 10th entry, which is on version 1.21. Like most things, mods can be categorized into several genres that fit their gameplay and theming. Here are a good bit of the more popular genres and some examples to go along with them. Utility mods typically give the player extra information about their world, like a minimap or item recipes. Mods like Zyro's minimap, just enough items, FTP chunks, and enchantment descriptions can be considered utility mods. Dimension mods are pretty self-explanatory. They add new dimensions for the player to explore. The Betweenlands, the Twilight Forest, and the Aether are pretty well-known dimension mods. Tech is probably the largest and most developed genre, featuring mods that would add new machines, energy systems, and the like. Mods like Industrial Craft Mechanism, GregTech Thermal Expansion, and Industrial Forgoing fit into this category. Magic mods are mods that, well, add magical systems into the game like spells, rituals, and golems. Witchery, Thaumcraft, Bewitchment, and Ars Novae are some notable magic mods. Biome/terrain generation mods add new environments to pre-existing dimensions for the player to explore. These are mods like Biomes of Plenty, Oh the Biomes You'll Go, and Terralith. There are a good bit of other genres out there, but if I were to cover them all, we'd be here all day. Better Minecraft is a Vanilla Plus style mod pack series present on many versions of Minecraft ranging from 1.16.5 to 1.20.1. The mod pack is present on both Forge and Fabric mod loaders. Considered a very beginner-friendly mod pack, it has garnered controversy over being what is essentially a few hundred mods thrown together with little care over quality or compatibility. Feed the Beast began as a challenge pack for early modders. One of the earliest mod packs, it quickly grew very popular and soon several sequels were released. The FTB team developed a launcher to host these mod packs and others before eventually joining with CurseForge to provide a one-stop shop for everything modded Minecraft. FTB still develops new mod packs to this day, and has built up quite an arsenal over the years, including Infinity Evolved, Academy, and Unleashed. Sky Factory is a series of mod packs developed by Dark Osto. As the name suggests, they are tech-focused skyblock packs. Sky Factory is one of the best gateways into more technical modded Minecraft and often serves as one to new players. The most popular versions of this pack are 3 and 4 with 11.3 and 6.4 million downloads respectively. Sky Factory 4, the most downloaded version, differs from its predecessors, as it's a prestige system that allows players to unlock items and mechanics with points earned through various means. I Go By Lots of Names, typically shortened to IG Blonde, is a Minecraft YouTuber that makes modded content. Starting off with Geometry Dash and then Hypixel Skyblock videos, began playing modded Minecraft and brought attention to more technical mod packs like Enigmatic and DoExpert. Known for his borderline schizophrenic editing style and text-to-speech voiceover, his channel is, at least in my eyes, one of the best modded ones out there and definitely worth watching. Specifically, his 100 players in Noma Factory and GregTech Garden of Grind videos are ones I'd recommend watching first, but don't sleep on any of his videos because they're all really good. It is a matter of taste though, so I don't know. Tinker's Construct is a content mod developed by MDO that focuses on adding new customizable tools to the game through the use of a forging system. The mod allows you to build smelteries to alloy metals, then cast the metals into tool shapes which can be assembled into custom tools with unique attributes. Featured in almost every pack during its heyday, the mod's one of the most popular content mods out there, as it did what it did very well. More recently, however, several nerfs and changes to the mod's content have made it redundant on the post 1.12.2 modding scene, and many of its tools have been replaced by those from similar mods like Tetra or Silence Gear. Journey Map is a popular minimap/world map mod developed by Tech Brew. Released for Minecraft version 1.0 all the way back in 2011, Journey Map's presence in mod packs has stayed consistent all the way up through today. That's not to say it doesn't have competitors though, with mods like Zyro's minimap acting as such, although they are fundamentally different given that Zyro's is much more lightweight, so much so that its world map is contained within a second mod. Journey Map is very feature-rich, offering display modes like topography and biome that give information mods like Zyro's can't. It really is much more of a preference thing though, especially now that Journey Map can zoom out more than a few hundred chunks, which was the only feature is really lacking. Also, I'll just be honest here, I play both at the same time. Like all the mods, Enigmatica is a series of popular mod packs by Nillermed Build that feature progression-based gameplay while not completely gating mods behind each other, giving the packs an end goal, but still allowing them to maintain very much the kitchen sink vibe. The series is currently on its 10th version, although that's kind of a misnomer, as every version also comes out with an expert version, which removes the kitchen sink-like gameplay and focuses on heavily gated and progression-based gameplay. Enigmatica 2 Expert is, at least in my eyes, the holy grail of expert packs, managing to balance its difficulty very well and serves as a good introduction to expert packs overall. Speaking of expert mod packs, I'm just going to elaborate them on a little more here. These are a special type of pack that typically focus on heavily gated gameplay and cross-mod interaction. Usually, recipes are more expensive, typically overpowered blocks and items are nerfed or gated, and a set of quests guide you through the intended progression. Unlike what you might expect, your average expert mod pack less often focuses on survival difficulty and more on progression-based difficulty. Although that isn't to say all expert packs don't buff mobs. Some notable expert packs are Sevtech Ages, Enigmatica 2 Expert, Correct Tech New Horizons, and Divine Journey 2. If there's one feature that Bedrock has over Java, it's optimization. Java Minecraft is infamously a laggy game. Thankfully, there's an entire genre of mods solely dedicated to boosting your frames. Optimization mods work in a variety of ways, but they basically all serve the same purpose. I'd explain their mechanics, but it isn't really relevant to the entry. Some notable optimization mods are Optifine, Sodium, Lithium, Rubidium, and Radium. There seems to be sort of a naming trend here, but I'm not really sure what it is. Optifine is probably the most prolific optimization mod of them all. While not available on CurseForge, it remains the most popular optimization mod for several years, before modders learned about the elements of the periodic table. Optimine's first iteration, called Optifog at this point, released on version beta 1.4 of Minecraft with the specific purpose of reducing Minecraft's fog before slowly evolving into the all-around performance mod that is still around today. As for its drop-off in popularity, Optifine has been infamous for its compatibility problems with mods and their 3D models. This has led to Optifine just not working on a lot of notable packs. Between that and other performance mods working better to reduce lag, Optifine lost its status as the go-to optimization mod. Kind of a basic entry here, but I wanted to take an opportunity and talk about some features mods have removed when porting their features to newer versions. A famous infamous example is that of the Tesseract, a block from thermal expansion that allowed you to transport energy fluids and items from one place to another instantly. While present in Thermal Expansion 4, it was removed in later versions. Similarly, the cryo-stabilized flux duct, an energy pipe capable of transporting unlimited amounts of energy at a time, was removed in post 1.12.2 versions of thermodynamics. Another infamous example of feature removal is Thaumcraft, although that is due to the nature of how the mod updates, with each major version being very different from the others. Specifically though, Thaumcraft 6 lacks the endgame Eldritch content that prior versions of the mod had, along with replacing wands with gauntlets, but that's a different story. If you spend more than a few minutes on CurseForge browsing mod packs, you may notice that a lot of big packs are on very specific versions of the game. RLCraft 1.12.2, E2E 1.12.2, Sevtech 1.12.2, GTNH 1.7.10, Pixelmon 1.12.2, Sky Factory 4 1.12.2, Infinity Evolved 1.7.10, Project Ozen 2 1.7.10. Alright, you get the idea. But this can't just be a coincidence, right? Exactly. Both versions saw an extended lifetime due to the preceding versions having a large change in Minecraft's base code that required mod developers to rework major parts of their mod's code. Because of this,
Many held back on porting their mods, allowing both versions to grow a pretty large following. Now, mods have made their way into newer versions of Minecraft, but I still see these versions, especially 1.12.2, as the golden age of Minecraft modding. Without worries of mod loader differences, mod packs on these versions just feel very interwoven and complete. If you've ever played a 1.12.2 pack, I think you know what I mean, and if you haven't, I highly advise playing it. It's an experience newer versions won't give you. Several mods have custom soundtracks that were made just for them. While these aren't nearly as prominent as, say, soundtracks in Terraria modding, they still exist and are pretty good. Both the Twilight Forest and the Betweenlands feature a full soundtrack, with several of the tracks being composed by the same composer, Roch Wilt? I think that's how I pronounce it. Honestly, I think it'd be cool if more mods had music, because while several do have music discs, I think bosses and stuff like that would having their own themes would add so much to modding experiences, especially in like Dimension mods. Storage Drawers is a lightweight content mod made by Texelsword that introduces single block drawers to the game. These drawers can store large amounts of a single type of item and are useful throughout modded playthroughs as mass storage solutions. The mod is very popular with a whopping 170 million downloads on CurseForge. When playing a modded instance on Minecraft version 1.16 and higher, you will be prompted with an experimental settings warning upon trying to enter a world. This warning will appear every single time, and while not preventing you from doing anything, it is kind of annoying. Thankfully, there is a mod that removes this warning. Ice and Fire is a large content mod developed by Raptor Fairy and Alex the 666. Its main focus is adding dragons of various sizes and types that can be found across the world, which can be fought, tamed, and used to make some pretty good armor. The mod also has a bunch of creatures from Greek mythology which can also be found throughout the world, like gorgons, cyclopses, and sea serpents. The Twilight Forest is a Dimension mod that introduces a realm called the Twilight Forest. Accessed by throwing a diamond in a 2x2 pool of water surrounded by flowers, the dimension is a massive forest that is forever stuck at dusk. The mod introduces a multitude of enemies, bosses, and armor, and sort of plays as an RPG. The mod also has heavy gating, preventing you from killing bosses out of order or going to areas you're not supposed to be in yet. The Twilight Forest is one of the oldest and most popular Dimension mods, and is still maintained on current versions to this day. Industrial Craft is an old, and I mean very old, content mod that adds electricity and machines to the game. It's one of the first ever tech mods that introduces a lot of the tropes we still see today, like crushers, smelters, alloying, and the like. The mod's energy system is different from newer tech mods though, as it doesn't use the fluid-like RF-FE system and instead uses EU, which functions kind of more like real electricity. The newer version of Industrial Craft 2, does work with FE though. Industrial Craft, while majorly irrelevant in the modding scene today due to a lot of mods implementing what it does in an arguably better way, is responsible for kind of shaping a lot of tech mods out there, and is directly responsible for Greg Tech, which we'll talk about later. Another grandfather of the tech modding scene, Buildcraft is mostly known for its oil and its quarry. The mod was developed by Space Toad and released in 2011, like most influential mods apparently. Unlike Industrial Craft, it isn't so much focused on single block machines that is powering setups like the chip engraver. I kind of wonder what would happen if more tech mods ended up working like this. Forge Energy, Redstone Flux, Mechanism Jewels, these are all names for a universal energy system implemented by a large number of tech mods. While they're technically not the same, they pretty much function identically. The power is moved through cables similarly to how a fluid moves through pipes and is stored within machine buffers consumed when the machine uses energy. The cables are lossless and are not restricted by voltage or amperage. Forge Energy is built into the Forge mod loader, while Redstone Flux, originally unique to the Thermal suite, is added in through a mod of the same name. While other mods often claim to use different energy systems or claim to use RF, most often it's just a reskin of Forge Energy. However, the Minecraft jewels used by older versions of Buildcraft and the energy units used by GregTech are an exception to this. Sometimes a mod doesn't include a feature you'd think it'd be cool if it had. And sometimes you might just know how to make a Minecraft mod. And sometimes this culminates in the creation of an add-on mod. These are mods that are dependents of another mod and use resources from said mod to build upon the content originally introduced by it. They're essentially a mod for your mod. While a lot of popular mods have add-ons, there are some that probably bring up the average by several dozens due to the sheer amount of add-ons they have. These mods are Create and Thaumcraft, both incredibly popular mods. They've gathered up a massive amount of add-ons, while if Create's introducing stuff like weapons, chemistry, and new mechanics, and Thaumcraft's add-ons reintroducing removed late-game content, adding new spells, and adding new alchemy recipes. Library mods are small mods that provide necessary code and resources for larger mods. You know all those mods you have downloaded that don't seem to do anything? Those are library mods. They're quintessential to the functioning of most mods, especially on Fabric, as the mod loader doesn't have any built-in libraries. Mr. Crayfish's Furniture mod is a medium-sized content mod that adds furniture. No surprise. It gained popularity for blending well with Minecraft's aesthetic and having nice furniture. There isn't really much else to say here. The mod adds chairs. Apple Skin is a quality of life mod that shows the amount of saturation you currently have as an overlay on your hunger bar, along with when your hunger will go down. It also displays how much hunger and saturation a food item will fill in its tooltip. What am I looking at, often shortened to WALA, is a useful quality of life mod that displays what block you're currently looking at in a box at the top of your screen, along with the name of the block and some other information depending on your config. Created in 2014, it hasn't been updated since 2017, but there are several other options to choose from. First, there's Here's What You're Looking At, which is a direct fork of Walia and brings some new features to the table, but it's also been discontinued. The One Probe is another alternative to Walia that is still being maintained, although unlike Walia and Hylia, it is a server-side mod. Also, it's being developed by the RF Tools guy, which is cool. Lastly, there is Jade, which is another Walia fork for versions 1.16 and up. It is currently maintained. Tekkit is a mod pack for version 1.2.5 that adds a large amount of technology to the game using mods like Buildcraft, Industrial Craft, and Mine Factory Reloaded. It is one of the most well-known mod packs of all time, seeing as one of the first that really blew up and had a large amount of content. Its popularity can also be attributed to the amount of Let's Plays made about the pack during its heyday. If there was a YouTuber that made modded Minecraft content, they sure as hell were playing Tekkit. Like, it got, so many YouTubers into the Minecraft space in the first place. Unlike a lot of the mod packs I've been discussing, Tekkit isn't on CurseForge. That's because CurseForge and Feed the Beast aren't the only mod hosters around. Starting as a small team of mod pack devs with a launcher, Tekkit grew into one of the largest launchers and mod pack hosters during the early days of Minecraft modding. Similarly to Feed the Beast, the Technic team developed their own mod packs, such as Tekkit and the Technic pack, while also hosting third-party packs. However, Technic has slowly lost its relevance to the community as there hasn't been a new pack released in years, and the launcher has stopped receiving updates outside of maintenance. To little surprise, when a bunch of third-party add-ons are made available for a game from third-party sites, and these sites have little to no regulation over what content is being put on them, while mod files are also executable jars, you might run into a malware problem. This problem isn't nearly as present on sites like CurseForge, more so on dingy forums and the like, but regardless, when modding Minecraft, you run the risk of downloading Trojans, worms, and all sorts of programs that'll fuck your computer. Even now, sometimes exploitable code is found within trusted mods. I really think the main culprit here are the mobile add-ons though. So we already know that Bedrock is not moddable, right? Well, that doesn't stop kids from trying to download quote-unquote mods into their Kindle and inadvertently installing something disastrous. One of the original developers for the Aether, King B Dogs, was hired as a developer for Mojang in 2020. I don't really have much else to say here, so I'll just add some of my own commentary. I think this is really cool. While I'm not sure exactly what he has contributed to Minecraft's development, I think it's good that people like him are being hired by Mojang, seeing what he's done for the game with his work on the Aether. Applied Energistics 2 is a storage/tech mod that allows you to store large amounts of items within digital drives which are accessed by an interface. Basically, you build a network of drives and terminals along with other blocks that allow automation machines, auto-crafting, and the input and output of items to and from the network. The mod has become a necessity for late-game expert packs due to its ability to automate incredibly complex crafting processes and bulk storage capabilities. We have made it to the third layer. Here I'm going to cover entries that your typical modded player would probably know. Fair warning though, entry obscurity does vary. Botany is a large plant-themed tech mod with a focus on creative automation methods developed by Vazkey. The mod adds several flowers that either consume mana, the mod's energy to perform a task, or generate mana. The mod has tons of quality of life features through its equipable accessories and tools, while also being very aesthetically pleasing. It also adds a boss, which is rare for a tech mod, and to be honest, as far as tech mods go, Botania probably brings the most unique content to the table. The way its content is designed forces you to use something other than Ender.io conduits and interfaces to automate things, and a lot of the methods of mana generation are really fucking cool. I'm not kidding when I say there's a flower that generates mana based on how many iterations of Conway's Game of Life you can get it to complete. Thaumcraft is a magic mod based around casting spells using energy extracted from aura. Originally developed by Aznor, he abandoned it during the 6th iteration's development cycle, leaving it to Team COFH for further development. Thaumcraft is a very big mod and has been around since 2013, so there's a lot of content to delve into, especially with the fact that each major version serves as an overhaul and completely changes stuff around. The mod has several different branches of magic you can explore, including artificing, golomancy, alchemy, and more. Each path requires you to complete research in order to unlock new items and concepts inside the Thaumonomicon, the mod's guidebook. Some of the features the mod introduces include infusion crafting for tools and quality of life accessories, golems to help automate tasks, extracting the core aspects of items and using them for alchemy, runic shielding, and a shit ton more. Talking about all the features is kind of difficult though because of how different each version of the mod is. The Thermal series, or Thermal Suite, is a bundle of tech mods developed by Team COFH. It includes Thermal Foundation, Expansion, Cultivation, Innovation, Dynamics, and Locomotion, where each mod adds something different. Thermal Foundation acts as the core mod and adds new materials like nickel and tin, while also adding processed versions of metals like plates and gears. Thermal Expansion adds new machines that can help with automation and processing. Cultivation adds more options for farming. Innovation adds a bunch of gadgets and gizmos like backpacks and drills. Dynamics adds pipes, and Locomotion adds new rails and minecarts. The Thermal series is one of the older tech mods out there, and while what it adds isn't necessarily unique by today's standards, it lays the foundation for pretty much every major tech-based pack there is. Another big-name tech mod, Mechanism, developed by Aiden C. Brady, is basically the go-to mod for ore processing. Focusing on high-tech futuristic machines, the mod offers up to 5 times ore processing, fusion and fission-based power generation, bulk item and power storage, along with some other quality-of-life features. The project is divided into several different modules, just like the Thermal series. However, it's best to play with them all installed. It's very rare for a pack maker not to include all modules. Mechanism is also pretty well known for how overpowered it is in terms of power generation and ore processing, as it totally outclasses the Thermal series, Ender IO, Industrial Craft, and many more. I don't really see a problem with this, as if you're in a kitchen sink pack, you can just decide not to play it until later, and, not mess with other mods' progression. And if you're in a progression-based pack, the dev should have just gated it. Immersive Engineering is a tech mod developed by Blue Sunrise. Unlike a lot of other tech mods, Mechanism, Thermal, etc., it focuses on multi-block machines as opposed to single-block ones. The mod is commonly used during the early and mid-games of mod packs due to its industrial but not futuristic aesthetic. The mod also adds a bunch of cool things like railguns and has a pretty large add-on community. GregTech New Horizons is a mod pack for version 1.7.10 developed by Dreammaster XXL. I haven't covered the GregTech entry yet, so I'll keep this simple. The mod pack is difficult. Really, really difficult. And I don't mean it'll take several hundred hours to complete difficult. I mean it'll take several thousand hours to complete difficult. GT&H is the expert pack to end all expert packs. Only around 120 people have completed the pack, and with every update it becomes even more difficult. The pack is mainly centered around the automation and processing of materials, just like every tech pack, but it does have some magic mods thrown in just for fun. That being said, the pack is also really high quality. Custom mods and forks help improve gameplay on the rather dated 1.7.10, while crafting recipe tweaks and new machines make the gameplay like no other pack out there. If you don't want to try it and attempt it yourself, CarHacks82 has a let's play where he manages to beat the pack, so you should definitely check that out. Vasky is a rather prominent developer within the modded Minecraft community. He has developed a lot of high quality and unique mods including Quark, Botania, Neat, Patchouli, and Psy. He also was rather active in several Minecraft modding communities such as r/Feed the Beast. He has his own website, which I'll link in the description if you want to learn more about him and his work. I've talked about this one before, so I'll make it quick. Enigmatica 2 Expert is a 1.12.2 Expert pack. Focusing on tech with a hint of magic, it is the staple of 1.12.2 Expert packs and uses a majority of the popular mods on the version. It serves as an inspiration for newer Expert packs, and I think it showed how far 1.12.2 modding could go. Project Ozone is a series of influential Skyblock packs. The first version, released in 2015 for version 1.7.10, was a kitchen sink with harder recipes and nerfed tools, but both Project Ozone 2 and 3 were more focused expert experiences, as while their basic modes were similar to the original Project Ozone, Titan and Kappa modes made the gameplay much more linear while also making it significantly harder. This is a good pack for you if you enjoy some exploration along with tech and magic based. GregTech is an interesting mod. In fact, there's so much to talk about I doubt I'll be able to explain it all here, but I'll try and give you a good rundown. It began as an add-on to Industrial Craft 2 that added some new content to the mod. However, the mod scope quickly grew, outgrowing IC2's progression to the point where it became its own standalone mod. The main focus of GregTech is its distinct progression system, but before I talk about that, I'd like to quickly disclaim, I'm talking about GregTech Community Edition. I don't know too much about GT4 and before, and GregTech 6 is kind of just its own thing. Alright, so basically GregTech has very, very linear progression. You start in the Steam Age and you only have access to Steam machines. You use them to produce the materials to get to the low voltage era, which allows you to get the materials to get to the medium voltage era, and it continues. As per their names, eras are defined by the amount of power they consume, which is another key element of GregTech. Unlike having a quote-unquote liquidy power system like RF or FE, it has somewhat realistic amps and volts, along with electrical loss along cables. This further enforces the linear progression, as you can't overvolt cables not rated for higher tiers of progression, and getting higher tiers of energy requires gated infrastructure. This linear system is an expert pack maker's wet dream, especially when coupled with the fact that GregTech natively makes vanilla recipes harder and is generally a difficult mod to progress through. Now, would I recommend GregTech for someone who's never touched modding before? Not really, but if you have had at least a little experience in tech mods, I highly suggest downloading it as a standalone mod and playing it, or play one of the many packs with it. I personally suggest Nomi Factory as a relatively easy GregTech pack that kind of streamlines some of GregTech's grind. Project E, previously known as Equivalent Exchange, is a mod by Sinclair J that adds an alchemy system to the game. Basically, most items have an assigned energy matter covalence. Using this energy, you can exchange items for each other in a transmutation table. For example, say you have a bunch of dirt. Dirt has an EMC of 1. Redstone has an EMC of 64. If you add the dirt to your transmutation table, it will increase your EMC, and then eventually, once you have 64, it can be exchanged for redstone. It's important to note that you already have to have the item and add it to your table before you're able to create it. The mod is infamously, incredibly unbalanced, as it trivializes all processing and resource gathering as long as you have a good EMC source. Project E also adds a bunch of tools and gear that do a variety of things like creative infinite lava, or speed up time in an area around them. Applied Energistics 2 and Refined Storage are both digital storage mods. This entry refers to the timeless debate over which mod is better. Common arguments go as follows. AE2 is better at automating large crafting tasks and is generally more TPS friendly, while Refined Storage has significantly less tools to automate to the extent of AE2 can, and on the flip side, AE2's channel limitations make it harder to set up large networks, Refined Storage is easier to get into, Refined Storage doesn't require part scavenging and meters, and Refined Storage's automation can be on par with AE2's. These arguments occasionally cause some discourse in my communities. Personally, I've never used Refined Storage and I probably never will. AE2 does its job, and it does it well. The Origin biome is a rare biome added by Biomes of Plenty that looks kinda how Beta Minecraft did. It has the old grass and tree textures along with the old flowers. It can be an interesting find, and useful if you really like the old textures for some reason. The Twilight Forest, despite being one of the oldest and largest dimension mods, still doesn't have a final boss. In the last dungeon, called the Final Castle, there is nothing but some floating text that says the castle is a work in progress. Seeing it has been this way for years, who knows if the mod will actually ever be finished. At this point, it's kinda just becoming a joke. Rats is a unique automation-centric mod that adds tameable rats that can do tasks for you, from cooking, transporting items, and auto-crafting. The mod also adds cheese, a dimension called Relentless, and a few bosses. Due to the code changes in 1.13, many mods took a very long time to transition onto newer versions of Minecraft. Even now, some mods haven't been fully ported, or have long-awaited ports in the making. These mods include Ender.io, Domcraft, and Actually Editions, among others. Other mods took a while to port, like Draconic Evolution and Thermal Dynamics. Avaridia is a self-described parody mod that adds extremely overpowered items to the game, like a one-shot sword, armor that makes you invincible, and a pickaxe that mines out several thousand blocks at once. The mod is quote-unquote balanced because of how much effort it takes to obtain these items, requiring hundreds of thousands of diamonds, iron, and basically every other valuable material you can think of, especially if you have other mods installed. The mod is obviously a joke making fun of expensive endgame recipes and expert packs, but it has since become the exact thing it parodies, being included in basically all expert packs since its inception. Taco Redneck is a prominent figure in the modding scene for his work with Little Tiles and his Woofy series. He is very skilled in building realistic buildings, logos, household objects, and more out of Little Tiles, and has since used these skills to make several shorts, including the dog Woofy and the shenanigans he and his owner get into. If you want to check him out, I've linked his channel in the description. Is a Magitech mod that centers around extracting energy from beneath the bedrock layer using large bores. This energy is to be processed and refined to power machines and devices that provide some quality of life to the game. The mod is no longer in development, so a project called Embers Rekindled was made to, rekindle the development. The original mod was made in 2016 but stopped receiving updates in 2017, later being continued through Embers Rekindled in 2018. Unlike most tech mods, Botania has a good bit of lore that is developed within the Lexica Botania. The gist of it is that the elves suffered some sort of apocalypse that closed them off from accessing Terra, and that you can help them by supplying them earthly materials through the Elven Portal. The mod also contains a lot of nods to Norse mythology, including the name of several rings being Norse gods, names like Rod of the Bifrost, which references the bridge to Asgard. Threefold is a YouTuber who has made several modded Minecraft playthroughs, mostly of expert packs. His videos aren't really Let's Plays, but they aren't completely chopped down either, so they provide some good insight into the effort putting into playing modded Minecraft. He also has a lot of helpful information for people beginning to play expert packs. After getting the Tier 7 rocket in GTNH, he's retired from YouTube, but that doesn't mean his content isn't worth checking out.
So I learned when recording this video that Threefold is actually uploading again, so that's pretty cool. If you want to check him out, you should go do so.
I lumped all these mods into one category as they're all made by the same developer, and I don't really know enough about them to talk about them individually. Chromatic Craft, Rotary Craft, and Reactor Craft are 3 large content mods developed by Rikekalseke for version 1.7.10. Chromatic Craft is a magic mod that focuses on energy using different colored crystals. Rotary Craft is a tech mod that focuses on energy generation and transmission through gearboxes and shafts. Reactor Craft is an add-on to Rotary Craft that adds fusion and fission reactors to the game. Rika has also made a few other mods, but these are the most notable ones. HBM's Nuclear Tech mod, often shortened to HBM's NTM, or just NTM, is an absolutely massive content mod on Minecraft version 1.7.10. As per the name, adds nuclear tech, such as atomic bombs, fission and fusion reactors, and a particle accelerator. But it adds so much more than just that. Mod also has hundreds of guns, its own power system, grenades, armor, chemistry, material processing, and basically everything else you'd expect from a tech mod. Like HBM's is just huge. It's one of the very few tech mods that you could play completely standalone and never get bored. While the mod is stuck on version 1.7.10, there are several ports of it to 1.12.2. While these aren't as complete as the original, they sure as hell are close to it. HBM's NTM is really underrated for what it adds to the game, and I highly suggest checking it out. Ore Spawn, developed by They Call Me Danger, was an exploration and invention mod that added new weapons, mobs, and bosses to the game. It was made pretty popular by YouTubers like Popular MMOs, and was a favorite among kids just getting into the modded scene. However, this all changed when the developer kind of went off the rails and tried to get people to pay for his mod, which is against Minecraft's EULA. After people called him out on it, he kind of went into a tantrum and had his followers raid discords and shit. It was an all-around mess, and nowadays you can't really download the mod from anywhere. The dude is also just generally a douche and has said some pretty terrible shit. Seeing that the mod was kind of a source of nostalgia for a lot of people, it's kind of sad to see the state it is in today, but yeah, that pretty much sums it all up. You also can't download it anywhere. He got really pissed. You cannot download Ore Spawn anymore. As mentioned previously, after 1.12.2, Tinker's Construct was heavily nerfed. According to a very trustworthy Reddit post I found on the internet, the tools, previously kind of overpowered, were nerfed down to be only 3 times better than vanillas, while also becoming more expensive. This came along with some nerfs to the Slime Sling and Slime Boots, which were kind of uncool. All in all, these nerfs took the mod from being the early game tool mod to just an early game tool mod. Minecraft modding has been around nearly as long as the game has. With that, a lot of older versions have decent modding communities built up around them. I don't really know too much about beta modding though, but I do know that a lot of these mods help to add basic features to the game, like multiplayer or commands. Way back before convenient launchers existed, modding was slightly more manual. A part of the process was removing the now infamous meta.inf, as it contains files that would verify if all your Minecraft files were functioning as the game intended. Seeing that modding changes the files in your game, the verification would fail, and thus meta.inf would have to be removed for your mods to work. This folder was the source of hours of headaches for many, as often early modders would forget to delete the file. Lushmac is a modded YouTuber who mostly plays through expert packs. His content is highly edited and cuts out a lot of the grind, making it a good watch if you don't really like Let's Plays. He's known for beating almost every single pack he's ever made a series on in very little time, often reaching mid-game by episode 2 or something. Some notable packs he's made a series on include Septec Ages, MC Eternal, Project Ozone 3, Enigmatica 6, FTB Revelation, and Enigmatica 2 Expert. Real simple entry here. Most mods are configured by editing JSON files. That's it. Draconic Evolution is an endgame tech mod that adds powerful gear and energy generation to the game. Ever seen that one massive explosion where a giant red ball proceeds to obliterate several hundred chunks? I'm pretty sure I had this earlier in the video. That's Draconic Evolution. The mod follows the philosophy of, it's balanced because it requires effort, so expect to pump hundreds upon thousands of resources into crafting stuff like the Draconic Energy Core, which at max tier can store more RF than you'll ever need, Draconic Armor, which makes you near invincible, and more. The mod also has a new dragon in the end, which is cool. While older versions of Forge allowed you to change mod configuration files in-game from the pause menu, Newer versions are just completely lacking this feature and require an individual mod to be installed for the functionality to be returned. Between Lands is a large dimension mod developed by Angry Pixel. Released in 2016, it currently resides on version 1.12.2 of the game, adding a very well-made and in-depth dimension. The mod is heavily themed around swamps and marshes, which kinda sounds boring, but trust me, it's not. Unlike a lot of dimension mods, Between Lands works as a standalone experience. You needn't go to the overworld at all to progress through the mod, and in fact, vanilla tools and food are borderline useless there. In terms of content, there's a lot. Several bosses, mini-bosses, dungeons, enemies, seasonal events, collectibles, armor, this mod really has it all. If you're looking for a cohesive and well-made dimension mod, the Between Lands is a must-have. Weezer is a rare item added by Ice and Fire that can be found within chests at Dragon Nests. The item depicts the album art for Weezer's Blue album in very low resolution. The item doesn't do much on its own, but if you have Tinker's Construct installed, you can use it as a material for toolmaking. It even has its own modifiers. The factory building resource management game Factorio was actually inspired by Minecraft mods Industrial Craft and Buildcraft, as stated by the developer in a Reddit thread. Apparently, before he began developing the game, he had even tweaked the mods for himself. Terra Firma Craft is a complete overhaul mod that reworks Minecraft gameplay to make it as realistic as possible. Developed by Dries007 and released in 2018, it reworks World Gen, completely reduced vanilla material processing, and adds a lot more life to the world. Its most recent version currently sits at 1.20 and is being actively updated. For such a large and complex mod, it is highly underrated and certainly deserves a playthrough, which is something I should probably do. Computer Craft and Open Computers are both small content mods that add computers into the game. They're both completely separate projects, but they effectively do the same thing, so I'm lumping them together here. Both mods offer programmable computers that use Lua scripts as their language, and if utilized correctly, can become one of the best base management systems available and modded, although you do have to know Lua to take advantage of them. Computer Craft is a slightly lighter mod than Open Computers, which involves having to install the operating system of the computer, servers, terminals, and a bunch of other extra shit like 3D printing. As I mentioned before, Draconic Evolution's Draconic Reactor is a staple of endgame tech mods. A large red orb, it can produce an insane amount of energy. This comes with one major caveat though. If reactor containment fails and the reactor heats up too much, it's going to obliterate your base and everything around it. A classic end to a lot of modded series on YouTube. MC Creator is a free development tool that allows you to start making mods without any knowledge of coding. Given that it has basically no entry requirements, it has been responsible for the creation of thousands of low-quality mods. Because of this, it has garnered a negative reception in the modding community, although there are a few decent mods that have come out of it. Chisel is a decoration mod that adds hundreds of new blocks to the game. Instead of having to craft each block individually, there are sets of blocks where you can use a chisel to switch one block in the set to another. This is my go-to mod for base building. It's especially useful for industrial and futuristic aesthetics. Some features that appeared in mods have been added to the base game. This includes pistons and allegedly horses, although I'm not 100% sure about that one. Infamously, copper was added to the base game, which nullified the purpose of several hundred mods' copper ingots. The ore dictionary is Forge's method of ensuring that mod materials are compatible with each other. For example, say two mods add tin. You're trying to craft something from mod A that requires tin, but you only have tin from mod B. If both tin ingots are registered as ingot tin in the ore dictionary, it shouldn't matter which one you use. This is helpful in larger packs with a lot of different materials. It doesn't exist past 1.12.2 though, as the way Minecraft handles item identities was completely overhauled in 1.13. MC Eternal is a very large kitchen sink pack on version 1.12.2. It caters to almost every aspect of modding with magic, tech, exploration, and basically everything else. It is a well put together questline and item shop to help pull the pack together. There is minimal gating, although it is present. As one of my first larger packs, I highly recommend it. It's a good way to learn about the variety of mods 1.12.2 offers. Electro Blob's Wizardry is a medium-sized magic mod that adds wands and spells to the game. Spells can be found through exploring across the world, then applied to your wand or staff to be casted. It's a really fun mod to play around with as there are a shit ton of spells added by the mod, and even more provided by add-ons. All around, a simple yet enjoyable mod. Abyssal Craft is a large dimension mod developed by Chanel, released in 2013. The mod adds a ritual system, 4 new dimensions, new enemies, and new bosses. Themed around a blend of Lovecraftian horror and dark magic, the mod is pretty interesting to play through as you descend through the layers of Abyss and defeat bosses on the way. Also, it's a magic system that's often overlooked, but a lot of the rituals it offers are pretty interesting. The mod currently is on 1.12.2 with little chance of porting beyond in the foreseeable future. r/feedthememes is a modded meme subreddit, a spin-off of r/feedthebeast. As far as subreddits go, it's actually a pretty decent one, although less than half the memes posted there are actually funny. It's also kind of used as an alternative to r/feedthebeast for some reason, with some posts just not being memes whatsoever. Forestry is another mod from good old 2013. It adds a lot of nature-related items and blocks, including new trees, butterflies, and most importantly, bees. Forestry bees are a classic of pre-1.13 Minecraft. Used to produce materials or make new, better bees, they are a useful method of resource automation. Like a lot of mods, it is currently stuck on 1.12.2, although there is an alpha release on 1.16.5. The mod also had some lesser-known features, like a mail system. The sink is an item added by cooking for blockheads. It provides water to your kitchen, and when combined with pipes that can extract water from other mods, provides unlimited water to any piping system. This is often exploited, with players avoiding using any sort of electrical pump, opting to use the much faster and cheaper sink. Honestly, I have no problem with this. Reactors are hard to cool down regardless. Seeing as there are so many expert packs, a few tropes have popped up that can be seen in a lot of them. These include crafting a creative vending upgrade as the final item, crafting a log into planks only yields 2, you can't punch trees, avaridia or extended crafting negate the endgame, furnaces require more complicated items than just cobblestone, and chests are considerably more expensive. The tropes tend to be more present during the beginning and end, with the mid-game being where the packs are unique. Ever seen those builds that look like they've been built out of a bunch of smaller blocks and are really detailed? More than likely, that build uses chisel and bits. The mod allows you to split blocks into bits, which are 1/16 of the size of a normal block. These can be used to build basically anything you can put your mind to and make incredibly detailed builds. There's also a mod called Little Tiles, which basically does the same thing. Nuclear Craft is a tech mod that adds several nuclear reactors to the game. It mostly concentrates on modular fission reactors, but it also has a pretty robust fusion reactor as well. Like most tech mods, it comes with a bunch of machines for material processing, like crushers and pressurizers, but it has some of its own unique machines that concentrate on processing the massive amount of different nuclear fuels it adds to the game. Nuclear Craft comes with a massive array of decay chains sparked by the fission reactor. In order to get the best fuels, you need waste products of previous reactions, which is a pretty fun gameplay loop. There's also Nuclear Craft Overhauled, which lacks the fusion reactor but is even more robust fission and quantum computing. While the mod remains without a final boss, the Twilight Forest does have some cool work in progress and unobtainable content, including the Talisman of the Cube, Harbinger Cubes and Adherence, the Cinder Furnace, Roving Cubes, and the Cube of Annihilation. Most of this content relates to the still incomplete final castle. Advent of Ascension is an absolutely massive dimension mod that adds 21 dimensions, several hundred mobs, and a few dozen bosses. While it is currently being completely reworked for newer versions, the mod that exists on 1.7.10 and 1.12.2 is content complete. The main gameplay loop involves obtaining realm stones through various means that allow you to access new dimensions through a unique portal. Each dimension will allow you to obtain a new realm stone, allowing you to travel into yet another dimension, and the cycle repeats. The mod also has a fairly robust skill system, and also adds a large amount of weapons, including swords, guns, and staffs. Although the mod definitely considered quantity over quality, it's still fun, and the ongoing rework seems to be fixing a lot of the problems the older versions have. Due to the way that a lot of tech mods implement their machines, they are referred to as magical metal boxes or magical gray boxes. This is because it is deemed unrealistic that a single block machine could perform the processes that they do, especially in cases like Mechanism where machines can handle several operations at once. Some mods, like Immersive Engineering, actively stray away from having magical metal boxes, opting for multi-blocks instead. In my opinion, which is totally unbiased, I think that it doesn't really matter too much as long as the recipe for the machine is balanced. Although my favorite machine setups are when several single blocks and multi-block machines come together into one giant processing system. The hardest Minecraft mod pack is a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, and I mainly attribute this to the fact that there's no objective way to rank mod pack difficulty. Regardless, some examples of the quote-unquote hardest mod pack include GregTech New Horizons, Terra Firma Greg, GregTech Garden of Grind, RL Craft, and Blood and Bones. Yeah, I don't really know too many difficult packs that aren't Greg. A lot of Skyblock packs have nearly identical early games due to the limited nature of the genre until mid-game. These early games concentrate on sieving for resources with ex nihilo, using silkworms to get string from trees, and crushing cobblestone down into gravel, sand, and dust for sieving purposes. The grindy nature of the early game sifting can often kill the motivation for players. We are seeing some more unique approaches to the early game though, although the biggest defenders, like Sky Factory 3, are still worth playing. No surprise here, there are mods that add space exploration to the game. Most notably, we have Galacticraft, which allows you to build tiers of rockets using blueprints retrieved from different planets. advanced rocketry, which allows you to build your own rockets by placing rocket engines and fuel tanks, and also features incredibly versatile JSON configuration that allows you to add your own planets. There's also Ad Astra, which is similar to Galactic Craft, but for newer versions of Minecraft. Chocolate Quest is an exploration mod that adds several large dungeons to the world. Each dungeon has custom mobs with their own levels, custom loot, and a boss. As far as dungeon mods go, Chocolate Quest is definitely one of the best. Its dungeons are very large and detailed while not necessarily annoying to loot. The original mod is on 1.7.10, but a port called Chocolate Quest Report brings it to 1.12.2. Lynne Pixel Studios, the developers behind Better Minecraft, have been criticized for the lack of effort put into their mod packs. Specifically, the lack of compatibility between mods, making the packs seem like low-effort kitchen sinks, is at the forefront of the controversy. Their packs have also garnered criticism over their Vanilla Plus branding, when in reality they add much more than what would just be normally considered Vanilla Plus content. The controversy hasn't really gone anywhere though, but honestly, don't play Better Minecraft. There are much better Vanilla Plus mod packs out there. Thaumcraft doesn't just have a lot of add-ons, it also has a bunch of native cross-compatibility with a lot of mods. This includes mods like Thaumcraft aspects to their items, using Thaumcraft V and Aura systems, adding new gauntlets, and more. Botania in particular has a good bit of compatibility with Thaumcraft. There are also some add-ons that are completely dedicated to cross-mod interaction with Thaumcraft, like Electromagic Tools adding compatibility with Industrial Craft, and Periphery with Embers. Patroli is a mod by Vazkey that adds an API that allows mods to include custom guidebooks. The mod is based off Botania's Lexicat Botania, but has since become the most used guidebook API. This entry also refers to guidebooks more generally, as they don't need an entry on their own. But simply, a guidebook is an item that provides documentation on the mod's content. That's it. This is a pretty simple entry. Feed the Beast has a wiki with a lot of info about mods and mod packs. While some of the info is outdated, it's a useful first resource before you have to start asking questions on Reddit. Divine RPG is a large dimension mod currently developed by Nicosaurus Rex 99. It adds 8 new dimensions and over 70 new mobs. Information on this mod's actual release date is somewhat scarce due to its re-release on CurseForge in 2020, and its original forum page dates back to 2015, but it's been around long enough that the original developer, Exolova, made a spiritual successor called Advent of Ascension. Sound familiar? As I've already talked about AOA, the best way to describe Divine RPG is Advent of Ascension Light, similar content on a smaller scale. The 1.12.2 version of Industrial Craft 2 has some deprecated machines relating to UU Matter, being the Mass Fabricator and UU Assembly Bench. While their recipes have been removed, they are still visible in JEI and have a tool to redirecting you to the machines that took their place. As previously mentioned, Thaumcraft 6, the version for 1.12.2, is complete and will likely never be finished. The developer, Azenor, dropped developing the mod, leaving it in beta. Due to this, the mod lacks a proper endgame, and while playable, seems a little empty. Thankfully, Thaumcraft isn't dead. On 1.12.2, the add-on Thaumic Augmentation has taken on the role of adding late-game content, and Thaumcraft 7 is currently being developed by Team COFH for a newer version of Minecraft. Not only can AE2 store items and liquids within its digital storage network, it can store buildings. Spatial confinement cells are capable of capturing parts of your world within an item. This is mostly just used for moving buildings, but it can also be used as a prison. This is because if a player were to be inside one of the capturing areas when activated, the player will be trapped in the cell along with the build. If the player has nothing in their inventory and there are no heights in the build you capture them in, they should be trapped in there as long as they don't starve to death. Quark adds shiny variants to several vanilla mobs. Instead of appearing their normal color, cows appear purple, and pigs appear blue, among some other changes. Dimensional Doors is a dimension mod developed by Dimensional Development, originally released in 2018. Unlike most dimension mods, it doesn't really add one big dimension for you to explore. Instead, it places doors throughout the overworld that you can use to access small dungeon-like pocket dimensions. While some are dead ends, others will have more doors leading to even more pocket dimensions, which can, in turn, lead to even more pocket dimensions. The loot the mod adds isn't game-changing, but it is pretty fun to explore. Also, if you see a red eye, don't stare into it. This is an in-joke with a little bit of discourse that basically boils down to controversy over whether or not Botania is a tech mod. This question arises because of the mod's plant magic themed aesthetic and use of mana as a power source, but tech-based gameplay. Not really sure why there's much of a debate here though, the developer has made it pretty clear it's a tech mod. Architecture Craft is a builder's best friend. It allows you to carve blocks into triangles, arches, and even spheres. It is incredibly useful regardless of what your building style is, and really helps your build pop out if used correctly. It also does some pretty goofy imagery. From October 2021 to February 2022, CurseForge completed the process of closing down third-party API access to mods and mod packs, meaning that third-party launchers like Multi-MC and @Launcher are unable to access certain CurseForge mods. I'm not very well educated on this topic, but it caused a rather large controversy, as the community saw that Overwolf was overstepping and trying to make more money without care for modders. The controversy has died down now, but the API closure hasn't. This is kind of what sparked Modrinth. As for my opinion, I wish modding was in the hands of modders, not corporations. Creative flight simply refers to the type of flight you have in creative mode, with complete control over your player character's movement. The term is used to differentiate this type of flight from jetpack-based flight, where you need to hold a spacebar to ascend and will descend when you're not, or some other type of flight that mods add. Basically, if an item gives you quote-unquote creative flight, you'll be like flying in creative mode. Tani is a magic-themed tech mod by Vazki, while Sai is a tech-themed magic mod by him too. Sai adds guns you can program with spells, and while pretty complex, it can be incredibly overpowered and really fun to mess with. I really don't see this mod getting enough love. There's cool gameplay, it's well made, and great visuals. Definitely worth checking out. Welcome to Layer 4. This layer contains less known mod packs as well as more obscure community members and concepts. In the summer of 2013, Gregorius T, the developer of GregTech, and MDO, the developer of Tinker's Construct, got into 4 conflicts sparked by an exploit caused by a glitch between GregTech and TCon. Basically, it allowed you to dupe metal blocks using Tinker's tools with Fortune and Automelt because of a GregTech recipe. While MDO added a warning message about the exploit that would appear when you logged into the world, Gregorius, seeing this, added his own message to the game blaming TCon, which eventually culminated in MDO adding a config option that would either allow or disallow having both Automelt and Fortune on the same tool. But that's the first controversy. The second began when Gregorius changed the vanilla recipe for sticks, but MDO added code that would overwrite the changes. To get MDO back, Gregorius added code that would scan for the changed recipe and stop the server from running if it had been overwritten. Eventually, the offending code was removed from both mods. The third conflict arose when MDO didn't like the way Gregorius was messing with the OR dictionary and put some code in TCon that essentially made all Gregorius recipes uncraftable. This was resolved after Gregorius removed TCon from its OR dic handler, which also resulted in materials from those mods being incompatible for over a year. The last conflict began when MDO received a bug report about an IC2 compatibility. Seeing an outdated GregTech version was in the report, MDO put a script in TCon that would automatically send a very lengthy message, then crash the game shortly after. This conflict was resolved when MDO simply removed the script. I partially attribute these conflicts to being the reason why GregTech kind of died off after 2015 and only really revived after 2020. I think I mentioned this previously, but before Mojang added copper ingots into the vanilla game, every mod and their cousin added a copper ingot. Like, it was ridiculous. You just made a large pack out of tech mods, have fun with 23 different copper ingots, and if you're really unlucky, they may not even have ORDIC compatibility, so you have some random machine in a mod that you've never seen before that needs a very specific type of copper when you have 2 chests of other types of copper just laying around. If you know me, you know this was bound to appear somewhere on this iceberg. Supersymmetry is an expert pack for Minecraft version 1.12.2 focusing around GregTech. Sussy is definitely one of the harder GregTech packs out there, seeing as its major focus is adding highly realistic chemical processes to the game. It's still in development, but I love the pack to death regardless. Setting up chem chains is like one of the best parts of modded Minecraft. Several mods do something special for April Fools. For example, GregTech maintenance hatches become the Wires minigame from Among Us, Draconic Evolution's reactor core falling down and rolls away when you come close to it, Pneumaticraft's steam particles being Rick Astley's face, and whatever mod makes you oink like a pig. The Immersive Engineer is a micro-celebrity on modded Reddit. He's known for the orange font he uses in his memes and advocating for drinking liquid concrete. What is this and how do I get rid of it is a phrase commonly encountered in modded Minecraft communities. It originated sometime after the release of Thaumcraft 6, which added large rifts that would appear in your world if too much flux entered your aura. Many players did not know this and flooded Reddit to ask what it is and how they should get rid of it. These posts still consistently appear in r/feedthebeast and are often reposted to r/feedthememes. Oh, and by the way, you can get rid of it with a causality collapser. Meatballcraft is a behemoth of an expert mod pack for 1.12.2, and honestly, describing it is kind of difficult. The best way to kind of help you get an idea of the gameplay is that EMC duping is a quest and is early game. The mod pack focuses on being overpowered while not overpowered. Basically, it's balanced around itself. You may be nigh invincible and have infinite amounts of basic resources, but that doesn't compare to the challenges the pack throws at you. Additionally, the pack is focused more so on automation and exploration as opposed to actually getting resources, so it's not really a grind-based pack. I've heard a lot of good stuff about this pack, and while I personally haven't played it, I can definitely recommend it to those who want a different type of expert pack experience. It's not for beginners though, I will say that. As I mentioned previously, Thaumcraft is being ported to a newer version of Minecraft by Team COFH. This version of Thaumcraft has completely redone textures and attempts to be a blend of all the best features from several versions of Thaumcraft. Overall, it's a promising future for the mod. You can follow development in the Team COFH Discord server. Clay is, or at least was, the most balanced item in the game. This was a joke that has made circles around the modding community for some time now, specifically referencing it to its use in GregTech's early game, as while it is difficult to obtain in massive quantities, it is required in order to make the primitive blast furnace and coke ovens. Through this, Clay quote-unquote balances the early game by making it more difficult. The Lexica Botania, Botania's guidebook, has a variety of Easter eggs, such as this one where you enter the Konami code. This entry simply refers to the meme around eating concrete on r/feedthememes. It's a pretty basic entry. Essential Craft is a magic mod developed by Modbder that adds a bunch of machines to the game. I don't know too much about it as my last playthrough was a while ago, but it kind of falls into a niche category of lesser known mods that still add a decent amount of content. It has some weird crafting recipes, but overall the mod introduces some pretty cool concepts about like magical energy. I remember it had some weird ass radiation that would like just randomly kill you. I don't even know. The People's Gregoric Society, often abbreviated as the PGS, was a faction on IGBLON's 100-player Nama Factory video. It is notable due to the fact that not only did it crush every other faction, but it had several notable members such as Reggie and Ann Zalgo. I don't really know what they're up to now, besides the fact that they've disbanded. The Betweenlands has some pretty in-depth lore about the Dimension's origin. Essentially, it began when a rift appeared in the overworld and life seeped into it. This life grew into a civilization that was populated by those who wielded powerful magic. Wanting to harness the Nether as an energy source, they built a portal there, but it resulted in everyone in the Betweenlands becoming whites, and basically everything got suckified. There's a lot more to it than this, but that's the rough idea. Alright, there's a bit explaining to do here. Basically, after GregTech 5, the mod's next installment was naturally GregTech 6, but that likely isn't the version you're playing. GregTech never received an official 1.12.2 version, and instead a port/fork called GregTech Community Edition was developed. You're likely playing that, or another fork called GregTech Community Edition Unofficial. The real GregTech 6 is still on 1.7.10 and is very, very different from previous versions of GregTech, especially in its emphasis on early game. Also has its own forestry bee system. It's like the forestry bees, but GregTech, which is pretty cool. Interestingly enough, Modded Minecraft has its own dedicated Wikipedia page. It covers some of its history and names some popular mods. The image featured on the article is the Tinker's Construct Smeltery, which makes the mod one of the most recognizable, I guess. While Thaumcraft 4 and 6 are pretty well known and often played, Thaumcraft 5 is like the youngest sibling whose parents don't pay much attention to them. It's a rather odd version, it's on 1.8, which is likely why it never got a lot of attention. In terms of content, it's kind of a blend between 4 and 6, acting like a transition between the two. It introduced stuff like ore instead of ore nodes, and a golem rework. To be honest, I don't even know why I put this entry on here. Regardless, here are some of the top posts on r/feedthememes. Potato Niches is a video with a CGA rat singing a song explaining their Potato Niches factory. It features both Buildcraft and Industrial Craft machines and pipes processing the so-called Potato Niches into centipedes. The video originates from episode 2 of Ratboy Genius's Ratboy Genius Dreams Minecraft series. Seeing as Thaumcraft is split across 6 versions and has countless add-ons and interactions with other mods, attempting to find all possible aspects is pretty difficult. Thankfully, the FTB Wiki has a pretty thorough list, which is on screen now. Oh boy, another Feed the Memes entry! This one refers to the copy pastas that the Automode posts. Here's a few of them now. The Stargate is a multi-block added by SG Craft that allows you to use it as a portal and teleport to other Stargates around your world. The multi-block is the final goal in GregTech New Horizons and has gained most of its infamy from this. The Page of Greg is a page on Gregorius T's website that shares some lore about the character of Gregorius T. It introduces some new Gregs like Classic Greg, Modern Greg, Gregory, and Gregoriette.
The page has some interesting background on where the name Greg came from, as well as a lot of background lore on Greg. This isn't actually about the developer themselves, just their OC. In the more elite parts of the tech mod player base, mods like Mechanism and Create are severely disliked. Mechanism because of how unbalanced it is when played with other tech mods, and Create because the way it is implemented into pretty much every pack's early game made the mod seem overused. It isn't my place to say whether or not these are good reasons to dislike the mods, but I do feel like Create could probably be better implemented into the packs than it currently is. Please note, these aren't popular opinions. There's just a vocal minority of Mechanism Create haters out there. I'll be honest, I struggled finding a lot of specifics with this drama, but from what I gathered, Flower Child, the creator of Better Than Wolves, struggled to handle an influx of new players to his mod and also disagreed with some of the developers of Minecraft and the way the game was going, so he eventually stepped back from the modding community. Better Than Wolves was seen as a very unique and influential mod, and its development being abandoned upset a lot of players. Again, this isn't the whole story, and it seems to be a deep within something awful among other forms, but that's the idea. Applied Energistics has a lot of add-ons. This is mainly because either a developer wants compatibility between AE2 and another mod, they want to add more automation options to AE2, or they want to port newer features into older versions of the mod. Applied Energistics has been forked on 1.12.2, and that fork, Unofficial Extended Life, also has its own add-ons. Some popular add-ons are Applied Mechanistics, AE2 Stuff, and AE2 Wireless Terminal Library. The first Minecraft mod is kind of a hard topic to research, seeing as nothing Minecraft was really being documented back in 2009. The earliest mod I can find was called Omen, developed by Omen Editor on the Minecraft forum. Apparently it was some sort of map editing tool. The link to the forum page is dead, but as far as I can tell, that's the earliest mod developed for Minecraft. If you know of an earlier mod though, be sure to tell me. Dreammaster XXL is the lead developer of GregTech New Horizons. That's pretty much it. Quantum Minecraft Dynamics is an add-on for Nuclear Craft Overhaul developed by Lock 01298 that adds realistic particle accelerators and colliders to the game. For being such a cool mod, it is severely underrated and really deserves more attention. In older versions of Blood Magic, you could theoretically make yourself invincible as long as you kept enough blood in your altar. This is because Bound Armor, an armor set added by Blood Magic, will protect you from 100% of all physical damage if you have the full set on and have enough blood in your blood altar. Combining this set with something like the Well of Suffering would theoretically make it impossible to kill you. Sadly, this is no longer possible in newer versions of the mod. Regian was a prolific Reddit user and a member of the PGS. I first knew him from Feed the Memes posts, but it turns out he had the third most karma of any Redditor ever, which is kinda scary. While he is banned from Reddit, he is dubiously active YouTube channel where he uploads GregTech related content sometimes, and is an ex-member of the PGS. Way back in 2019, before GregTech had taken over Feed the Memes, the Nether Chest was a meme. Yeah, the subreddit has apparently never been funny. No surprise, this isn't the only modded Minecraft Iceberg. In fact, I made one myself quite a while ago, although that one was kinda shit. The reason why I made this iceberg is also because of those other icebergs, because I think a lot of them had bias towards just random ass mods. Their bottom layers were always just a bunch of mods who can't find on CurseForge anymore and not actually anything interesting or of substance. There are also other videos like this one, but the few I watched seemed kind of misinformed about a few entries. I'm not saying that I'm not misinformed, because I've definitely probably got a few dates wrong and probably didn't fully flesh out the detail on a few entries. But, like, these people would just, they just said, I don't know what I'm talking about, and just skip the entry. I'm not saying my iceberg isn't biased or missing information either. You could probably tell this is very biased towards the more chronically online Reddit portion of modded Minecraft, but I'm trying to make mine a little more comprehensive than the others. The Jenny mod is the mod that adds sex to Minecraft. That's it! Also, apparently it's known as Fapcraft, which is kind of funny. The furnace dimension is a dimension added by Meatballcraft. It is a dimension made of furnaces. It became sort of a meme over on Feed the Memes because I guess furnaces are funny. Maybe. Project Ozone has a prequel mod called Error 404 Survival Not Found. The pack is very different from the other packs in the Project Ozone series. It is almost completely survival focused, placing you into an incredible hostile world. I mean, like, really hostile. According to the pack description, all trees are made out of netherrack with lava as leaves, all stone is infested with silverfish, and blood moons are incredibly frequent. The pack only has around 4,000 downloads, which is interesting seeing as it's part of the Project Ozone series, which was pretty prolific. While digging around for information on the Better Than Wolves controversy, I found an interesting Reddit thread about some early modded drama. Back before there were mod packs and convenient launchers, installing mods was a pain in the ass, made at NF and all that jazz. So someone came up with the idea of putting several mods together for other people to download, as while installing one mod was difficult. Installing more than one and ensuring there was no conflicts was Sisyphean. So a lot of these packs were being quietly passed around until one broke the surface and was showcased by the Yogscast. Now, mod creators weren't happy with this because downloading mod packs avoided the adfly links that got their money from. Eventually, another pack came around, this one being Technic, and the devs added a donation box for the mods, which sort of ended the controversy. But for a while there's a possibility of mod packs as a whole just never becoming a thing because mod developers didn't want their mods to be redistributed without their permission. Layer 5. This layer will cover entries you may not actually know, including obscure projects and mod features. Forestry adds several secret bees that are hidden in just enough items outside of the holiday season, although you can still see their recipes when looking through the uses of bees in the mod. Some of these bees include the Merry Bee, only obtainable from December 21st to the 27th, the Tipsy Bee, only available from December 27th to January 2nd, and the Tricky Bee, only available from the 15th of October to the 3rd of November. At exactly 59 minutes and 2 seconds in I Go By Lots of Names 100-player Noma Factory movie, a metal cover of the song Black from Homestuck by Richard E.B. plays. This is the closest GregTech has ever gotten to Homestuck as far as I know. Terra Firma Craft is an abomination of a mod pack developed by Exception. As per the name, it is an unholy matrimony of Terra Firma Craft and GregTech. I don't know too much about the pack's community, but as far as I know, no one has ever beaten it. I mean, take Terra Firma Craft's diabolical early game combined with GregTech's everything else. There's really no surprise there. HBM's Nuclear Tech mod is chock full of references. There's the High Frequency Blade from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, a shit ton of Fallout references, the Crucible from Doom, this fist thing that is essentially the Knuckle Blaster from Ultra Kill, and this Doomsday weapon that is supposedly from a Fallout My Little Pony crossover fanfic. Matter Overdrive is a rather obscure mod that adds a bunch of cyborgs and futuristic machines to the game. It also adds random gravitational singularities scattered across the world. The mod offers a multi-block that allows you to harness the energy of the singularities by throwing items into them. The only problem is that this is horrendously broken, and once you throw in like 3 stacks of items, it will produce infinite energy. This reactor is early game too. You can get it within like 5 hours of spawning in. It's ridiculous. Like you can attach like some cryo-stabilized fluxux everywhere and it never drains. Like literally, creative energy cube, 5 hours off the bat, never need to worry about energy again. This entry doesn't necessarily only refer to Mechanism's cardboard box, just items that can move blocks in general. Mechanism's cardboard boxes can act very interestingly when paired with multi-block structures. Not so much ones built out of several different blocks than formed, but ones that are one block that is placed that results in a multi-block appearing. If you were to capture one of these extra blocks inside the cardboard box, then place it, you would get a whole new multi-block. This doesn't always work, but I do know it works with embers. In general, blocks like the cardboard box can easily break a lot of modded content, and just generally allow you to move blocks you shouldn't. Try messing around with them, it's kind of fun. Minestuck is the mod that attempts to add various concepts from Homestuck in Minecraft. It adds alchemy, sprites, and lands into the game. It's pretty cool overall, and it's incomplete. Speaking of incomplete, there has been a work-in-progress boss inside of Embers/Emberroot Zoo now for years. It appears as a massive fireworm that can fly through the air. It has the ability to summon geysers of fire as an attack. I don't know when or how the boss will ever be implemented, or really why it's in the mod in the first place. TechTech is an add-on for GregTech, most notable for its inclusion in GregTech New Horizons. What makes it so interesting is it is only available via GitHub and there's very little documentation on its features. I believe it introduced the idea of quantum computing for research data to GregTech, which was something later implemented in GregTech Community Edition Unofficial. Cool mod overall, kinda wish more of the features were more well known or more well documented. When flipping the lever from immersive engineering, you might have noticed it makes a funny noise. As indicated by the in-game subtitles, it is, quote-unquote, direwolf imitating a knife switch. This is a reference to one of his videos where he made that sound when flipping a lever. Project CBT, or Project Kockenball Tohurcher, Nuclear Greg Horizons, is a mod pack developed by the Ministry of CBT. Their GitHub page describes the pack as, quote,
a Minecraft mod pack that tries to combine aspects of RL Craft, GTNH, Toho, and HBM Nuclear Tech mod into one totally not buggy masterpiece. End quote. Sounds really fun. Finally, we arrive at Layer 6. Here are the most obscure things I've found throughout my years playing modded Minecraft. I'm just gonna get this one out of the way real quick. Every single Iceberg I've watched has its bottom 2 layers filled with obsolete mods that have mediocre features. Just because the last time you could download them was 2016 doesn't make the mod interesting. I'm not even gonna bother listing them because there are entire icebergs out there with a bunch of ancient mods you can't play anymore. Mechanism etc.cj is a sound effect that appears in both the subtitles and the /play command when Mechanism is installed. I'm not sure whether it's some sort of April Fool's sound effect or what, but there's little to no information on it or what it is. The Flugel Tiara is an item that gives creative flight when equipped and the user has mana in their inventory. It comes in various skins that make the wings it displays look different. There is a variation of these wings called quote-unquote the One that's method of obtaining was locked behind some sort of encryption. I don't know if this was some sort of puzzle or Vazki only wanted to make specific people have the wings, but eventually the code was cracked, yielding the phrase Kimi no Kokoro wa Kaguata Kai? I don't know if I pronounced that right, which is the name of an anime. Now, I'm not sure if I'm typing it wrong or if the code was removed, but I cannot get it to work for new pairs of wings. Thankfully, I have an old save from a few years ago where I did obtain them. They have a Matrix-esque aesthetic, and I think they're pretty cool. To further context, there's basically no information on these at all. There's a bunch of dead-end threads where Vazki basically says, I've made them unobtainable and you'll never crack the code. So I think it was really cool just to share that they do exist. And that's it! We've made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. If you learned anything new, that's really cool. I know I missed a few things. If you want to put that in the comments, go ahead. I probably got a few things wrong too, so any corrections are more than welcome. Again, thank you so much for watching, and again, I hope you have a great day.